Well, hello there. So, starting with the words from my book, Walking Courage, Trusting the Whispers of Your Intuition, starting with those opening words that I used every time I sat down to channel the book. In this place, I welcome our highest selves, source, angels, spirit guides, the superconscious, and any other sources of light like our heart wisdom that are working for our highest good. I ask the spiritual team for wisdom and insight, illuminating dark places and healing deep wounds. We dedicate this time to be centered around our highest good, to elevate our vibrations and bring us into a space wherein we co-create lives we love. May this journey, this time, this day, and these moments be a delight, a joy, an absolute yes and huzzah. Okay. So, picking up where we left off on our last episode, I have a stack of questions from people who were at events with me. This is the stack. And I am just running through them to go through questions that have come up that maybe I didn't get a chance to answer that I think are timely or are poignant or might even touch you as my listener as I'm going through these. So Rachel in I almost said Admore. Oh my gosh. My Boston accent sometimes comes out when it gets later at night, and I am recording this a little late. I mean, it's not super late. It's like 8:45, but Admore definitely just came out of my mouth. She's from Ardmore, because that's how you say it in Pennsylvania. You say Ardmore, you don't say Admore. Okay. Rachel's going through a tough time, and she wants to know if she'll get back to who she was, and the answer is yes and no. Yes and no, honey. Like, honey girl, like, I'm sorry to tell you, you will. You will get back to who you are. You will be able to not have the anxiety and the rising up of the worry and the panic and all of that other stuff. You will get there, but you will be forever altered by what has happened, and you will be forever changed. Now, the problem with anxiety, as I know, because I have had it a lot, and that is it creates more anxiety. A panic attack creates more panic. Anxiety creates more anxiety. Loud noises and large crowds create anxiety. Like, it's what happens. I would be in school and just the rush of people and their energy going past me. I didn't know it was an energy thing. I was not aware it was an energy thing. But as I've grown up and I've learned, all the kids walking by with all of their energy, that energy was just too much for my body to process. And I would have a panic attack because it was just overload of energy and people's stuff. I didn't know what it meant to be an empath. And so high school classrooms and high school hallways where I worked was a problem because it was just too much energy in one space. Because kids are active and they have things and they don't know how to control their And so there's also pressure. There's a ton of pressure as being a teacher. There's like huge high expectations, and like it's not such an easy job. To be honest, not so easy. And so finding a space that's right for you, finding the work that lights you up and fulfills you while at the same time paying bills, right? Because this needs to happen. But the truth is that this touch, there's a line in the Bible where Jacob, there's a story, I should say, in the Bible. This one's in the Old Testament, the First Testament, the Torah, if you will. However you want to phrase any of those sections, it all applies. Jacob is hanging out at night, and this guy shows up, and he wrestles him. For the evening, he wrestles with him. And we find out later that the man he's wrestling with isn't actually man, it's God, and he wrestles with God. And after he spends the whole night wrestling with this man and says, I refuse to let you go until you give me a blessing. He says, I refuse to let you go until you give me a blessing. And eventually the man, God, that he's wrestling with, blesses him. But ever after that, Jacob walked with a limp. Jacob was hurt. His leg was not okay. He had pain every time he stepped, even though he asked God for a blessing. And that's when it came down that, like, your children will be more numerous than the sand on the shore, and uncountable. And so when we are touched with our lessons and we are touched with the thing that makes us grow the most, it causes a limp, and we are never the same again. I will never be the same after Hodgkin's lymphoma. I will never be the same. I am never going back to that version of me. And I have to say, panic was a thing after chemo, but then after I got out of chemo and I found strength, I realized that nothing in this world is going to be as scary as death. And nothing is going to be as scary as chemo, because chemo is basically a little death. And so things that used to make me really terrified before didn't. And I also learned, oh, this energy thing's real, and these kids have energy, and oh, that's why I get overwhelmed, because it's just so much. It's all a part of the learning and all a part of the growth. And so will you be back to who you were? Yeah, you're going to learn how to conquer this. This is not going to take you out. You are a fighter, and this anxiety that you're facing is a problem, but it's not going to destroy you. You will conquer it. You will figure out how to be bold and breathe and meditate and all of that. You will. However, you will never be the same. You won't, because this is going to have changed you inexorably. You will be altered forever for having walked through this. And that means you'll be stronger, and you'll be bolder, and you'll be in some ways unshakable. And in other ways, you will be kinder and more compassionate and more understanding and more gentle, because those are things that you need from people. And so you'll be willing to give that a lot more than maybe you have in the past, because that's how we transform. I want to say that's how we transform now. In the future, that might not be how we transform. In the future, a lot of us will transform just because we want to. Just because we want to, we will transform. It will feel good to be different. It will feel good to be kinder, and it will feel good to be a different kind of person. Transformation will happen without a negative catalyst in our lives. But right now, the way we're set up in this 3D realm, that's how we grow. We grow because there's been pain. In the future, when we're not 3D and we're 4D, then we will grow because it'll be fun to grow. And change won't be uncomfortable. I have a question here from Joe from Phoenixville. And the question is, are earthquakes good or bad? And the question is, by whose standards? Right? We put labels on stuff all the time that something is good or bad, but that's only because we look at them and put a judgment upon it as good or bad. It's neither good nor bad. It just is. An earthquake is. We call it good or bad because we look at the effects of the earthquake, right? If a building collapsed, ooh, that's bad. That's loss of life. That's not good. And it's sad and it's tragic, and the people who lose people in that, it's terrible, right? It's not okay. Like what happened in Texas with the river overflowing, or what happened in South Carolina with the river floods, right? With the hurricane, and nobody was expecting that inland as far as it was, right? Like these things happened, and that gets labeled as bad because it's devastating. It's like that glacier that collapsed in, was it Sweden? I think it was Sweden. Might have been the Swiss. There was this town, and then there wasn't a town. Like, there's a glacier that just like fell off the side of the mountain, and the town had evacuated. And the mayor basically gave the announcement that said the town no longer exists. There's like some few outlying houses, but like the cutest little town in between these two mountain faces, and this glacier came down and just went poop, and the town ended. It's that same sort of concept. Is a glacier falling bad? No. In itself, it's just a glacier falling. It's what it lands on that's a problem. And then that's our definition. This whole town is gone, and that's devastating loss. But we've put that on it. It in of itself is not bad. as we are transitioning, I've already mentioned the 3D to 4D. As we are transitioning from 3D to 4D, right? As this transition is happening, as we are being lifted up, the earth is also going through her own transition. So there was recently a really rough earthquake in the middle of the ocean, and there were a lot of places on tsunami watch. California and Russia both, and then all the little islands in between were all on tsunami watch because this earthquake happened in the middle of the ocean close to Russia. Inherently bad? No. The earth is just going through her own labor pain as we are moving through. So as above, so below, as within, so without, right? So it's law. It's like, I forget whose kind of law it is, but it's a law, not a mnemonic law. It's a law, right? Like the law of attraction is one of them, right? It's going to come to me. It's going to come to me what laws these are. But if you want to write it in the comments or the chats, that'll be very helpful. And because it's a law, as within, so without, so above, as above, so below, now, the spiritual changes that are happening and the waking up that is happening and the need to be better and the desire to no longer be who we were, right? With the desire to be free, the desire to have fun, the desire to be separated from what was fearful, to now not have judgment, to now be open and spacious, to be a land that allows for frivolity opposed to seriousness, and we have to work and the rules of work. These all things are lifting up off of us, which sounds like crazy talk because right now we're still very much in a 3D reality. But as we move into 4D, these things will shift. And in that shift, right, the earth is also shifting. She's having her own labor pains, and she's also going through some transitions. By itself, an earthquake is not a big deal. It's no big deal. It's just the earth going, ooh, I need to move around a little bit. Just like, ooh, we need to move around a little bit. But when she does it, it causes some devastation, and that's no good. It's no good. And so it's the label we put on it. And it's not the earthquake itself that is the problem. It is the effect of the earthquake that is a bit of a problem. Just like a glacier falling is not a big deal, except if it lands on an entire town and the entire town is gone. That's a big deal, right? And that brings me to like the tree in the forest. And yes, it makes a noise. It sends out waves of sound that if there is something there to receive the sound, it will make a noise to the receptors of the sound. If there's nothing there to hear it, it still sends out sound waves. You just need a receiver. Just like people who are on the radio, if nobody's listening, they're still going out there, making noise. Lorraine in Phoenixville asked, how successful will my family be? How successful? I love this question because you have already put it in there that they are going to be successful. That you already know it. They're going to be successful, right? And the truth is they will be as successful as they want to be. One of them is going to really push themselves to go really far and really excel. And they are going to like have this weird drive to be known and seen. And that is going to, I don't want to say weird. It's not necessarily weird. It's just weird for your family. Your family isn't that way. And so this one person is going to have this for you weird. It's not weird inherently. It's just, you might see it as weird because it's not really what your family does. And this person's going to kind of break from tradition and go do something big and bold and be seen on a very big stage. And then that's going to feel a little weird for you guys. And so that is actually going to set up a paradigm, a new paradigm in your family where people do go big, do big, bold things. Right now you stay sort of small, but there is some like being important in the community things that are happening for you guys. And that is what is fueling this other person to be like, well, if they can be big and important in the community, and we've always been a small family, but this person's big and important in the community, then I can build on that and be even bigger. And then when they get on their really big stage, there will be other people who will say, you know what, if they can do that, then I can do that too. And so your family will actually be very seen prominently. Keep people, not necessarily the whole family, because some people will be like, no, I just want to be at home. Thanks. I don't need that. I just go work in the office. Everything will be fine. Whereas other people will be like, no, I want to be seen. And there's a catalyst, which is, I want to say, you doing big, bold things in the community, Lorraine. And then people around you seeing those big, bold things and then feeling the excitement and the light up of that, which makes them go do even bigger, bolder things on big, much, 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 much bigger stages. I know I answered that one live. That one was empty. Chuck asked, are we really alone in the universe? And I say, hell no. I say hell to the no. And we're going to find out. Well, one, it came out during COVID and nobody even paid attention to it. They were like, look, here's pictures of UFOs. Here's pictures of UFOs. And like, nobody cared. Nobody cared. They were like, here's a photo of a UFO that like people in fighter pilots took like pictures of. And nobody cared that the pictures of UFOs came out. It just like was non-news, which I found hilarious because it was the middle of the pandemic and people were more concerned about the fact that they couldn't leave their house. And we aren't really alone in this universe. There are galactics after galactics after galactics that are aware of us and are actually watching us as we move from the 3D to 4D. I'm getting a yes, this is very true. So, Chuck, no, we are not alone. And by the next 2 years or so, you will, we will have proof of that in the next 2 or 3 years. We will have touchdown of aliens on planet Earth. It's just what's going to happen. That might be really weird. And some people are like, Kim Beam's a freak, but that's okay. And I mean, it's timing. So like, you're going to look at this and be like 2 years or 3 years, you'll be like, Kim Beam, it happened. And it's 4 years from now. And there are no aliens here. And I'll be like, yeah, I know, but timing is weird. And it's just a matter of time. It's just, one of the problems has been, people of the planet do not necessarily take kindly to outsiders in any way, right? And we can see that by how the second Trump administration has been handling people who are from the outside. And they're people who are humans. Could you imagine how certain people would react to like an alien? It would be super unkind. It would be an unkindness on the deepest of levels. It would not be collaboration in any way. And so that attitude needs to shift before we can see the truth of what is actually out there. Carl Sagan, in his book Contact, says, if there isn't alien life, it's a major waste of space. And I think that's like true on two levels, right? It's a major waste of all the vast galactic space that is out there. And then it's a major waste of space because it's space, right? What else is going on out there in all that space? If there isn't other life out there, there is other life out there. I'm excited to learn from it. I'm excited to know what they know. I'm excited to step outside of myself and my being small of planet Earth and learn how other people do it. Because it's got to be way more fun. It's got to be way, way more fun. So Tony asked me, how much longer do I have to live, basically? I've actually been asked this question a couple of times. People really want to know, do I have a lot of time left? And sometimes they want to know because they're suffering. And sometimes they want to know because they have an illness. So one person asked me because she has a broken back, and that broken back, that pain has just been so intense. She wants to know, how much longer do I have to put up with this intense pain? And for other people, I've been given a really terrible diagnosis and I don't know how to handle it. How long do I have to go? Yeah, how long do I have to go? And so I have to say, we aren't told the time or the space or the when. When is something that we really hold on to here on Earth. It's a really important thing. I work per diem at a local hospital, and I have a nurse up on one of the floors who every time I see her asks me when she's getting engaged. And I tell her, as soon as you drop it, as soon as you're able to let it go, as soon as you're able to not really care, as soon as you're able to stop putting pressure on him emotionally, just like graspy, right? As soon as you're able to like open your hands and say it'll happen whenever it's going to happen, that's when it will happen. He's waiting on you to let it go. And so how long do you have on this planet? Well, long enough to go do the thing that you need to do. Don't put it off. Go do the thing. And you know what I mean when I say that. If you're hearing this and it lights something up in you, go do the thing. You have enough time, go do it. And then if you do it, it'll open another door. In the last podcast I did of these where I'm answering questions, I told a story about how I stepped into Hodgkin's, and I stepped into teaching, and then I wasn't really alive in teaching after some time. So then Hodgkin's happened, and then after Hodgkin's, I learned about MBSR, and I became a social worker. And because I did that, I went on a 5-week silent retreat, and because I went on mostly silent retreat, and then when I went on the 5-week silent retreat, after the 5-week silent retreat, I then decided to stay working at the hospital. So from teaching to social work school, from social work school, I went to a residential treatment facility. From residential treatment facility, I went to a hospital. And then in there, I learned MBSR. And because of that, I went on a silent retreat. And because I learned MBSR and I went on a silent retreat, when I went and worked in a school for a year, and then I had a summer off because I was per diem, I was able to just take 5 weeks off and go be silent. And because I did that, I'm now doing this. And you're hearing my voice and you're listening to my podcast. Hello, listening to my podcast. And so go do the thing. Just go do it. And then live a little. Go live a little. And then after you do the thing, find out what door that opens, because that'll open a door. Go do the thing and a door will open. And then walk through that door and just keep walking through doors. Opportunities that come in, just say yes, because it'll get you moving. Please just go move. Go do something else and move. Because staying stuck isn't going to help you. It's not going to change anything. It's actually going to make things worse. Please don't make things worse. Please go make things better. And I think I'm going to leave you on that. Please go make things better. And I thank you for listening. And we'll talk to you soon.